Everyone keeps saying that homeowners are desperate and that any minute we're going to see a flood of inventory hit the market, causing home prices to crash. However, right now, the data is showing the complete opposite. That's right, the complete opposite, because new listings of homes for sale, they are down compared to last winter, down 1.7%. So inventory is not exploding nationwide, it's vanishing. And in many areas, there are fewer homes for sale right now than there were this time last year. And check this out. This is crazy. A market like San Antonio, Texas, where new listings are down 23% year over year, 23%. And that's not all. Check this out. Tampa Bay, Florida, where it's a lot warmer than it is here, I can guarantee that. But I'll tell you what is not hot are new listings, because they are down 20% year over year. So folks, that's what we're looking at today, because at the same time that new listings are down, we're also seeing demand not exploding at all. So there's not a ton of demand on the market. And yet home prices are still higher than they were this time last year. So what's all this mean? Well, the housing nerd is going to break it down with you today. Good morning. Excuse me. Getting over a cold, so it'll be kind of gross, but bear with me because I want to bring this update to you. I couldn't believe some of these new listing numbers. I mean, and there's some other stats here that are completely crazy as well. We're going to get to that here in a minute. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jason Ferrier. I am the housing nerd. I've been a realtor and investor in Central Ohio for the past going on 8 years now. And I'm not a financial advisor, though. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. I'm just a normal guy who likes looking at housing data and has been studying it now for years and wants to help you understand the housing market. So if that's you, you came to the right channel. It's about, I don't know, it's not that cold out. Maybe in the mid 30s, low 30s, maybe. Got a little snow. I guess it is low 30s because we got snow, but it's not horribly cold out here today. But nonetheless, thank you for joining me. And let's get started on this update. If you have a market you want me to look at during this live, drop it in the comments. I'm looking for a metro or a county level. That will help me jump into your market and tell you kind of what's going on. Let me show you, I'm going to show you just a couple stats real quick. Then we're going to get to the Redfin article, the actual article itself. So these are the new listings right now in the US. And remember, folks, I don't track 85 markets or just a handful of markets. I track 3,000 counties and 900 metros. That's how many markets I'm looking at in my data set. And today we're looking at just the Redfin update because they put it out yesterday. It's the most up-to-date data we have in the housing market. And you can see right now, new listings are down. Let me just change this screen real quick. New listings down 1.7%. So you have to keep this in mind. We always have a slower market in the winter, right? Excuse me. We always have a slower market in the winter. That's not anything new. But we're comparing year over year. We're not comparing now to summer. And riddle me this and ask yourself this question. If homeowners right now were pulling the fire alarm and saying, I got to sell my home, if Airbnb investors were saying, I got to sell, if mom and pop landlords, if institutional landlords were like, I got to sell, like I have to sell. I don't want to sell off market. I want to sell my home. I need to sell it now. Do you think new listings would be down year over year, or would we see them up? Logic would tell you we would see more new listings, not fewer new listings. And quite frankly, we're just not seeing that. And check this out. This is even crazier. I haven't got to the crazy part yet. Look at this. Look at active listings of homes for sale. Look at this. Craziness. It continues. Only up 4.6%, meaning right now in the US, we only have 4.6% more homes for sale than we did this time last year. That's it, 4.6%, not 20%, not 40%, not 50%. And I'm going to show you some metros today where there are fewer active homes for sale than there were this time last year. So it's going to blow your mind. We're going to look at the whole Redfin update, look at some markets that you want to look at. Let me get to some comments, if any. Say good morning, and then we'll get started quickly. What's up, John Doe? You're always here. Good morning. Good to see you. Imagine 916. How are you? Willie Will. What's up? Evil Overlords. Portage County. That's what you want to look at, huh? Okay. Cool. Hello. Yep. Hello. Hello to you. Hey, John, what up? Beautiful out here. Valuable information. Thank you. You're welcome. You're up early. You're in Vegas, right? Thumbs up given. Thank you. Yeah, if you come on, hit the thumbs up. That's all I ask. Not a big deal, right? Only takes you a second. Clare County, Michigan. Okay. We'll look at those. All right, let me jump into this Redfin article. This came out this morning, and it's titled, appropriately, New Listings Post Sharpest Drop in 2 Years, Tightening Housing Supply. This is a big problem. This is a big, big issue if you are looking to buy a home in the spring. Even if you're looking to buy a home in the winter, which you should be hunting now. If you're looking to buy in the spring, hunt now, because you can probably find a better deal now. Because sellers, the ones that are on the market, if they really need to sell, you're going to see it in their sales or their price, because they're going to drop their price, right? And they're going to keep dropping it. Don't get it twisted. People that need to sell their homes, that must sell, that are distressed, that are motivated, those people do not take their homes off the market and relist at a higher price. They drop the price until somebody will buy. Or they're going to drop it to the point at which they can't drop it anymore, because if they do drop it, they'll end up being a short sale. So they're like, well, I got to leave it on. Hopefully somebody will come by and buy this thing. Those are the opportunities. But this is a bad thing, because if you are wanting lower prices, more competition for sellers, we're not seeing it. Now, every market's different. Markets are very hyper-local, but we're talking national numbers. We're not seeing it, and there are markets where inventory is dropping. So check this out. We'll look at this article. Would-be home sellers and buyers are retreating as we enter the holiday season, with both new listings and pending sales falling. Yeah, pending sales are falling, no doubt. Demand is down, and it's just a kind of a dead market. New listings of U.S. homes for sale fell 1.7% year over year during the 4 weeks ending December 7th, the biggest decline in over 2 years. 2 years. So with all this economic uncertainty, with all the increased expenses of property taxes, insurance, whatever things, boogeymen you want to come up with, at the end of the day, most homeowners are like, don't need to sell, ain't going to sell. And that angers a lot of people for some reason. I don't know why. It doesn't anger people when people don't want to buy, right? Like, I don't care if people buy or sell. But a lot of people, for some reason, get really angry that sellers are not selling. They're not desperate. It's odd. Most of those same people, by the way, never buy real estate. They're just angry for some reason that people are doing well. Who knows, right? Would-be home sellers are pulling back partly because it's the end of the year. True. Not a great time to list your home. Like, if you wanted to list your home today, I'd be like, well, should you list your home during, right before Christmas? Not sure. Typically a slow season for the housing market, and partly because they're reacting to a lackluster home buying demand. That's right. Buying demand's horrible right now. Pending home sales are down 4% from a year ago. That's the biggest decline in 10 months. The homes that are selling are taking a long time to do so. A typical home that goes under contract is doing so in 51 days, roughly a week longer than last year. So homes are sitting 7 days longer than they were last year. Prospective home buyers have been hesitant for many months, spooked by widespread economic uncertainty and high housing costs. The median home sales price is up 2%, with prices rising despite slow sales demand, partly because of tightening inventory. The weekly average mortgage rate has fallen to its lowest level in over a year, but it's still well above 6%. I checked today at 6.3%. That interest rate cut that we had yesterday from the Fed, it's weird. Like over the last maybe 5 cuts, it feels like when the Fed cut, the 10-year went up, mortgage rates went up. This time that didn't happen. The 10-year dropped. Mortgage rates dropped when the Fed cut rates. I don't know. I just work here. Some would-be sellers are sitting tight because the market is flat, said Josh Felder, a Redfin premier agent in San Francisco. That's partly because we're heading into a normal seasonal slowdown, and partly because prospective sellers and house hunters are watching and waiting to see what's going to happen with rates next year. The stock market and tariffs. There's always the tariffs involved, right? You can't, if you need to blame something, you can just blame tariffs, right? I guess. You can always blame fraud. That's like an easy one to blame, right? It's fraud, whatever. Some homeowners will put their home on the market in 2026 when they have a better idea of how the economy will shape up. So maybe that's you. Maybe you're like, I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to sell until the spring. I mean, spring is a good time to sell. Although I would argue if you're wanting to buy in the spring again, you should look now, because you may be able to find a lower price now than you'll pay in the spring because there's not a lot of competition. They just said it. Now, I'm not saying you should pay a higher price or pay any price you see, but it's a good time to negotiate at least. All right, let's look at these indicators of demand and activity. We got the 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 6.36%. But when I check it right now, it is 6.3%. You can see that here. So 6.3% is what we're facing right now. It did drop yesterday. Yeah, it did. So completely the opposite of what we've seen with the cuts before, right? In the last 5 times or so, when the Fed cut their rate, mortgage rates went up. Not this time, though. Mortgage purchase applications. How many people are actually applying for mortgages? Well, that's down 2% from a week earlier, but it's up 19% from last year. But pending sales are down 4%. What does that mean? Means that buyers are like, I'll apply, but I'm not going to buy right now. And one of the reasons why they're not buying is there's not a lot of inventory. There's really not. Like in some markets, there's an explosion of inventory, no doubt about it. Like some markets are at 10-year highs of inventory. But overall, there's not a great supply of good homes to choose from. It's not like 2017 where there were some starter homes, mid and expensive homes on the market. There's just nothing. Otherwise, it would sell if it was priced right? Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index, not going to pay attention to that. Google searches for homes for sale up 4% from a month earlier and up 20%, up more than 20%, I guess, year over year. Touring activity. How many people are out seeing homes? Down 11% from the start of the year. At the same time last year, it was down 16% from the start of the year. So there are fewer people right now looking for homes and touring homes, not looking for homes, touring homes than last year. No, sorry. Fewer people than the beginning of the year. Just a smidge more than last year. My fault. Said that wrong. Okay, let's look at this. Median sale price, $389,000. 123, up 2% year over year. Hasn't fallen beneath 2024 yet. Pending sales, 63,959. That's the biggest decline in 10 months. New listings, only 62,000. This, I didn't see this earlier. Oh my goodness, I did not see this earlier. This is not great. Not a great piece of info here. New listings were 62,674. How many pending sales did we have? 63,959. I haven't seen it often, folks, where new listings are actually lower than pending sales. That means we are losing active inventory. The inventory is shrinking because you're taking away more than you're adding, right? Look at active listings, sluggish like a wet sponge. 1,127,000, up 4.6%. That's the smallest increase since January 2024. Share of homes off the market in 2 weeks or less, basically 25%. Median days on market, 51. Share of homes sold above list price, 22%. Basically, right? 22%. But that's down from 25%. So fewer people are overpaying for the house. Good news, right? That's great news. Average sale to list price ratio, 98%. Buyers are getting about a 2% discount, right? Approximately. And if you're joining us, hit the like button. Apologize for my raspy voice, my cold. I'll get through it, and put your metro, your county in the comments, and I'll get to it. I'll analyze it. All right. Median sale price. What do we got? They went up the most in Detroit, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and Nassau County, New York. You know, I've heard people lately say this out loud with a straight face, looking into the camera. They say that Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit, the Northeast, the Midwest, prices are crashing. Inventory is exploding. And I'm like, what? And they say they're looking at the same data I'm looking at. And I'm like, man, I don't see it. So I'm showing you this data right now. This isn't my, I didn't make this data up. I just pulled this off the internet today. You could do the same thing. It's right there. Anybody can see it. So it's there, right? Metros with the biggest year-over-year decreases in home sale price. What are those? Dallas, Fort Worth, Jacksonville, Seattle, and Sacramento. Look at this. Declined in 15 metros. That means home prices are up year over year in how many? Well, this is the 50 most populous metros. That's how they do this on the leading indicators. So that's 35. My dumb Ohio math tells me that's 35 markets where home prices are higher than they were this time last year. I don't know. Pending sales. Pending sales are up the most. More demand than last year in West Palm Beach, Miami, Virginia Beach, Boston, and Phoenix. San Jose, Houston, Tampa, Denver, and Oakland are where demand has fallen off a cliff. New listings are up the most in Boston, Philly, Minneapolis, Montgomery County, PA, and Baltimore. Look where they're down the most. Look at these new listings. These are the areas where we were supposed to see a lot more inventory this winter because of the snowbirds, right? San Antonio down 22.8% in new listings. That's crazy. Tampa Bay, 20%. Jacksonville, 16%. Fort Lauderdale, you can't make this up, 14%. West Palm Beach, 12%. So in all these situations and all these metros here, folks, on this right-hand side, these are markets that I thought we would see continued collapse of the market from an explosion of new listings from distressed sellers. But somebody forgot to tell the distressed sellers to list their home, I guess. Unbelievable. Unreal stuff. Okay. It's time for your metros. I'll look at comments and then we'll get into that. Whoa, look at this. Good morning from Guatemala. Wow. Holy cow. Well, I appreciate you watching. I bet it's warmer there than it is here. My fingers are going to freeze off. Purchase applications up 15% year over year. Yeah, just not a lot of people coming through, I guess, on the actual signing the dotted line. We bought a house. The price they asked when we first hit the market was $384. They kept cutting the price until it reached $325. Woo! There's my woo for the day that I can't really say. Excellent job. Great job being patient. See, the deals are out there. They are. They are. This is the funny part. At some point, people that have been waiting for lower prices are going to have to put their money where their mouth is, because prices are dropping in a lot of areas. Nationally, they're not. And in many areas, they're not dropping. Like where I am here in the Midwest, they're not. But there are houses and certain pockets where they're dropping, even in Ohio. You just got to be strategic and local. What's up, Barry? Good morning to you. Great to see you on Facebook. Thanks for joining us. It's so crazy how it varies by region. We got outbid by 50 grand over asking on so many houses. Huh, where's that, Imagine? Let us know. Yeah, there are still bidding wars, believe it or not, too. We closed on November 19th. Our interest rate was 5.99 conventional loan, 30-year fixed. Great job. Great work. Well done. Looking, but most houses overpriced. Yeah, there's still a lot of overpriced homes, and the sellers don't need to sell. So they're like, nah, I'm not gonna drop my price too much. I don't need to sell. They'll just take it off and try again later. If something changes in their economic life, like, job loss, I don't know, a black swan event, the event horizon that everybody's waiting on to happen, then yeah, maybe they'll say, all right, I'm gonna have to drop my price even more and lose money on the house. But right now, not a lot of people are doing that. Yes, agreed. Hopefully you'll be able to get your dream home soon. Good morning, Forerunner. How are you? Shocker. It's almost like people are predicting this. Investors will be caught holding the bag. Yeah, I mean, taxpayers definitely will if the housing market gets really rough. I mean, the taxpayers have already bailed out the housing market because 85% of loans are backed by the U.S. government. We've all stood in line already and put our hand up and said, we'll take care of you. Nobody talks about that. They won't admit that the government has the back of the banks already. Banks aren't going to be hurt. Taxpayers will be hurt. I live near New Jersey town and grew up in Nassau County. I can't afford Nassau at all. It's insanely expensive for a decent house. This is great info. Thank you for sharing. And I've seen that. We're going to take a look at that market. Tell me what market specifically. I did find a house that's perfect for us. It all worked out in the end. Good. Great news for you. I'm glad. That's a tough market. This is why they say real estate is hyper-local. Absolutely. But if you think about it, and if they aggregate all the data together and new listings are down 1.7%, that means even though listings are exploding in one market, they must be down more in another market in order for the number to come down, right? So I don't have any idea what you're saying. Oh, I'm sorry. You be more specific and I'll clear it up. Yep, I'll look at New Jersey. Great. I got Sacramento on here. No problem. Josh Hall, how you doing? There should be a law against these corporations buying up single-family homes. Yeah, see, the tough thing is, though, like a lot of mom and pop companies, I mean, mom and pop obviously own 90% of all the rentals out there, or 95% of all the single-family rentals. People that own less than 5 homes. That's the majority of rentals out there. So, and a lot of them are corporations. It's a tough thing to do because somebody has to own the rentals. Like, who's going to own the rentals? And not everybody wants to buy. But I understand your point, saying, well, we don't want one company buying up all these rentals. But in reality, it's a lot of smaller investors. That's the weird thing. But a lot of them are LLCs. And I think it's, like 1.5%, 2% of all rentals are owned by companies that own over 1,000. And then it's like another 5% are companies that own over 100, but less than 1,000. And then you've got the rest. And the majority, I think 90%, are the small guys. They own less than 5 rentals. People just like us, like normal people. I own more than 5 rentals, but they're not single family homes. All right, let's look at that. 11554. Wow, where's that? Oh, that's where you grew up. Now you live at 07095. Wow, 11554. I wonder if that's like up way up north, huh? Just a guess. I'm from the Midwest, and prices are down, and there's a slow market correction with 20 to 30K price drop, but still 50% higher than usual. There needs to be another 20% cut to buy. Great. Where in the Midwest are you? Let us know. I'd like to know what you're seeing there. Let us know. So many layoffs here in Vegas. It seems like prices are softening. I'm hoping the trend continues. Hey, let's look at Vegas. Thanks for joining us, Michael. All right, let me look at some of these markets you starred. Portage County, Ohio. Let's do it. Now, I have an Ohio channel. I'm sure you know that, Evil Overlord. It's just an Ohio only focus, and I'm going to do a live Sunday where I'm diving into all, like, tons of counties, zip code level data for Ohio. But we'll look at Portage County for now. It is a little cold out here. I've also been sick, so maybe that's it. All right, let's look at new listings. New listings in Portage County, Ohio. What do we got? They're up 26%. Good. You've got more listings than last year. How about active inventory? You've got nearly 20%. I get basically 18% more homes on the market. That's a good thing to see. Let's look at demand. Pending sales. How are they doing? Pending sales up 6% year over year. Up 6%. So you have more pending sales than last year. You've got more new listings, and you got more active listings. So the market's more active. Good. You need that. You need what people will call it is price discovery. You need price discovery. You have to have it because that will drive prices down. As more homes are listed, there's more competition for sellers. More people sell at a discount. Then those comps turn into discounts. And I'm sorry, those discounts turn into comps. And then when somebody looks like a realtor or even a home seller is like, hey, let me check the market. They look and see a lower price. Then they price their home lower and prices come down. So more activity is good. Now, are prices down there? Let's find out. Median sale price. This is all over the place. Look at this. Basically flat, down 0.09%, 244 grand. But join us on Sunday night, Evil Overlord, because we can look at specific zip codes, and I can look at many more metrics than this. But let me move to the next person. But thanks for suggesting Portage County. All right, what's this? This is Clare County, Michigan. Clare County, Michigan. Crazy what happened to that coach, right? That was nuts. I saw that this morning. Clare County, Michigan. New listings in Clare County. What do we have? You are up 27%. You only had 7 new listings. Not a lot going on in that market. Active inventory up just 3%. That's better than being down, I suppose. Pending sales, what are those doing? Pending sales are, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to look at this. Well, there we go. Pending sales up 14%. You had 10. So you added 7 listings, but you took away 10. So maybe active inventory is falling. I don't know. Let's look. Oh, we just looked at this. Sorry. Active inventory up 3%. So, but that is falling. But it looks like you took away more than you listed. You probably just need more inventory, right? Median sale price. What's that doing? I mean, this is all over the place. There's not a ton of transactions probably, but 188 grand, up 7%. No. Yeah, up 7%. So price is still up there. Michigan's an expensive market. It just is, especially areas outside of Detroit. It just seems like prices don't want to budge. I mean, you could see they like started way up here at 198 grand early in the year. They kind of bounced around all year, and now they continue to go up. You are ending the year lower than you started the year. 188. You started at 198. Okay, let's do the next metro. What do we got? Central New Jersey. Let's look at this one. 07095. Oh, I can't look at a with this Redfin data, I can't look at zip codes. You're gonna have to give me a county, but let me see. Let me look at this. Actually, I'll do this. I'll use this Resi Club information, and we'll look at the zip code. 07095. Well, home prices there are up 7.4% year over year. We know that. This is a different look because you're giving me a zip code. So I have to go into the Resi Club data, which is using Zillow. It's using Realtor.com data. But nonetheless, this gives us a look at that zip code. If you give me a county or a metro, I can probably look at the Redfin chart. But this will work. So we know home prices are up 7.4% there year over year. Let's look at the typical home value. Typical home value there is $509,000 right now. That's the typical home value. It doesn't look like it's crashing. It's up year over year. Let's look at active inventory year over year. That is up 24%. So you have 24% more homes for sale than you did this time last year versus 2019, though, you are down in inventory in that zip code. You're down 57% since 2019. Again, there are people, and I can't understand why, but there are folks that are telling, naive watchers, naive viewers, that inventory is exploding in New Jersey, that the demographics are causing a housing crash of not only prices, but inventory has exploded, and they're doomed basically. And I'm like, I don't see where this inventory is exploding. You're still down 57% from 5 years ago, from 5-6 years ago. It's crazy. Look at the inventory count. In that zip code, you only have 38 homes for sale. It's unreal. Back in November of 2016, and this is the end of November data, by the way. You had 87 homes for sale. It's nuts. But nonetheless, prices are up there. Let's look at new listings real quick. New listings, 0% growth. So you haven't had there's really not a movement of new listings hardly at all. Only 12 new listings. That's not good. Pending listings year over year. Demand isn't great either. Only 0%. Not a lot going on in that zip code. Looks like a sticky market that needs more inventory. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, let's look at Sacramento. Let me go back to the Redfin chart, Josh, because that's the latest data. Metro, Sacramento. Let's look at Sacktown. Sacramento. What do we got? New listings. How are they doing? New listings down 1.2% in Sacramento. So you have fewer new listings than last year. What about active inventory? You're almost, wow, you only have 3.6% in Sacramento. I can't believe that. Sacramento has a ton, I think, new builds. And I would think there would be a lot of people in distress in Sacramento because of, I don't know, I guess because of the narrative I hear. Even I believe it sometimes. But the data doesn't show it. Let's look at pending sales. What do we got? Let me see if I can. Pending sales, 0.4% up. Barely any more pending sales. Nothing to write home about there. How about median sale price? Look at median sale price. Wow, down 4.5%. Well, actually 4.4%. So median sale price now $567. You started the year at $578. See, there are areas where prices are dropping. That's good. Need some, more normal housing markets here. Are they down 50%? No, but they are down. You are getting a price correction, I guess. Good. Good. So that's Sacktown, Sacramento. What's next? Las Vegas. You talked about Las Vegas. So many layoffs here in Las Vegas. All right, let's look at Las Vegas. If you have a metro, a county you want me to look at, put in the comments, and hit the like button when you join. That's all I ask. Las Vegas, Nevada. New listings. This is crazy. New listings in Las Vegas down 9%. I mean, it shocks me. It even shocks me. I didn't think that the sellers or the typical homeowner out there is in that much distress based on the mortgage data and the fact that 40% of homes don't have a mortgage and 80% of mortgages have a rate under 6%. I figured, I don't think a lot of homeowners are probably in distress. I'm not seeing it where I live, even in the small towns in Ohio necessarily, to the point that they're going to flood the market with new listings. But I'm shocked that the new listing data is like this, where it's down 9% in Las Vegas. What's active inventory? Active inventory is still higher. Look at this, up 17% year over year, but it's falling now, obviously, because you're not listing as many homes as you did last year. But look at pending sales. What are those doing? Those are down too. Pending sales down 7% year over year. So not a lot of people buying, not a lot of people selling. 560 pending sales. What about new listings? What did those do? So here, this is a great example. Look at this. New listings were 532 new listings. Pending sales, look at this, 560. So more homes went into contract than hit the market. That's not what you want to see as you head into 2026. You want to see the opposite. We better hope that interest rates don't fall very much. We better hope. Better hope interest rates don't cave. Do I think they will? No, I don't. Not in the next 12 months, I don't think. But you never know. Anything's possible, right? Anything is possible. Can't be surprised by anything. All right, that's Vegas. Oops, no, I'm sorry. I didn't look at prices, did I? Prices. What do we got? What are home prices doing there? You're still up year over year, up it's flat. Sorry. It's basically flat. No growth. 449 grand. You started at 436 grand, but it hasn't crashed in Vegas. I mean, notice it has been up and down, and you'll see headlines saying like Las Vegas down in home prices, I don't know, 1%, 2%, but it's kind of following seasonality, honestly. I don't know. Somebody forgot to tell Vegas to crash, I guess. Crazy. Will it crash? It could, but you need another round of explosive inventory, I suppose. What do we got? King County. I see King County here. I see Nassau County. All right, let's do that one. I'm probably saying this way wrong, right? Nassau County. New listings in Nassau County. Wow. Goodness gracious. Down 26% in new listings. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to look at that data. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to look at that data and know that if you are, if you need to sell your home in Nassau County, you're going to put it on the market. And there aren't a lot of people that are doing that right now. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. Huh. I got 2 dogs that are going nuts. I think there's somebody, I don't know, there's like a mailman or somebody here. Hopefully he doesn't get bitten. All right. Sorry, I was distracted. Pending sales. Pending sales up 4%. So you took away 39 listings. You added 32. That's, again, not what you want to see. You want to see more new listings than pending sales. Look at active inventory down. You have 1% fewer homes for sale than you did this time last year. So inventory isn't up, it's down. Look at where it's traveled this year. I mean, you started the year good, and then it was like, woo, way down. So active inventory is not great. What about median sale price? How's that doing in Nassau County, however you say it? 521 grand. Up, oh no, I'm sorry, it's down 6%. So your prices are down 6%, but the good news is they haven't skyrocketed this year. Look at the price. You started at 552, now you're at 521. I would say that's a good sign that, all right, no longer are you seeing this. It's kind of just going sideways. So some more inventory this winter, maybe some people having to list their home in the spring, see further price correction there. It'd be great. Great for that market. The Northeast is a very tough market. I don't envy you at all. If I had to buy a house out there right now, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I mean, that is a tough, tough market. Oh, what time Sunday for the Ohio Live? Yeah, probably be around like 7 o'clock, maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock on Sunday evening, out by the fire. So yeah, join us for that, Evil Overlord. Would you please check King County, Washington? Absolutely. Love King County, Washington. I used to live in Washington, didn't live in King County. I lived in Pierce County. I lived in Tacoma. All right. New listings in King County, Washington. Look at this. Down. This is Seattle, by the way, folks. Down 2%. Fewer new listings. What's going on? I don't know. People just not having to sell their home, like, many predicted. Look at active inventory, just down, just falling. But it's still up 17% year over year. So you still have a lot of homes on the market. So right now, obviously, the people that leave their homes on the market and they cut the price a few times, maybe the ones that are willing to negotiate and wheel and deal. You won't know till you make an offer. You won't know till you make an offer. I'm never going to tell you not to buy and that the market is never so toxic. Never going to tell you that because I don't know your situation. To say that would be like saying the housing market will never crash. It's completely stupid. I also will never tell you to absolutely buy because it's a great time to buy real estate and real estate always goes up. I'll never tell you that either because that's not true. And I don't know your situation. But right now, there could be an opportunity in King County because new listings are down. What are pending sales doing? Did we look at that yet? I don't know that we did. We didn't. I mean, look at pending sales. They're down as well. You can't click this. Down 10%. Pending sales are down 10% in King County, Washington. So you got new listings down. You got pending sales down. Why? People are like, man, interest rates are high. Home prices are high. I can't sell this and move. I got a great interest rate. And buyers are like, I'm not paying that price. So right now is a great time to go out and say, all right, Mr. Seller, you've been on the market for 3 months now, 4 months. Here's an offer. And they get it. That's a rough offer. Okay. Don't take it then. Move on to the next one. then go back to that seller, make another offer that's lower. Wait a couple months, see what happens then. You never know. Let's look at price. Median sale price down 3%. Wow, look where it started the year. Median sale price in Seattle and King County, $782,000. But every year it does that. It starts very low or lower and goes up and then starts to come down. But you're still higher than you started the year, but you are down 3%. $830,000 is the median sale price there right now. Wow. Expensive market, King County, Seattle, no joke. Expensive, expensive. North Las Vegas, 20 to 25% of single family homes are corporate owned. ChatGPT. Yeah. I don't know if you sourced that or not, but ask ChatGPT where they got that number. Like ask them for the specific link. Maybe you already did that. But I find that when I ask them for the source, sometimes the data changes, and I always ask them for a valid link that I can actually click on and see the data. But I don't doubt that. In some areas, there's a lot more corporate ownership than there are in other areas. But corporate ownership doesn't necessarily mean institutional ownership, meaning like I have a corporate ownership of a property, right? Because I definitely own less than 100 properties. But many mom and pop landlords have an LLC. So they could own like 2 properties and have an LLC. You know what I mean? So anyway, just some context. Some zip codes in my target area, Fort Wayne, are selling homes coming into the market in days because of the price, but previously listed homes are not moving because of the price. That's exactly right. Exactly. I mean, you should do my live for me. Oh, you live in Fort Wayne, but you're in Guatemala right now. Huh. Wow. You on vacation watching The Housing Nerd? You got to be kidding me, right? Maybe you're there for work. But yeah, this is exactly what we're seeing, man. Seeing it all over the place, where if you list a home correctly and price it right, it will go into contract. If you list it wrong, it won't. And guess what? That's what the normal market should be. Immediately when you list a home, if you don't get interest in the house quickly, I'm not talking like multiple offers, I'm just talking showings or phone calls, then the market's probably telling you something. Hey, that house is overpriced. It's like a litmus test of all litmus tests. I'll get a couple more of these zip codes here in a minute. All right. What's the next one? Who's next on the list? Middlesex County. All right. Uh-oh. Middlesex County, which state? I wasn't aware there were 4 Middlesex counties. Virginia, New Jersey, Massachusetts, or Connecticut? Which one do you want me to look at? Let me know. Would like to take advantage of that now, but I'm still a few months away from a move northward. I got it. Well, don't worry about it. There are opportunities out there. Like you will this winter, if you're in a few months, even next year. You don't have to do it today. Shoot, man, just keep looking and know your buy box. Know exactly what you want to buy and track your market every day. So go in, have a realtor, call a realtor in your area where you want to buy, have them send you the new listings every day, the active listings every day, just for the type of homes you want to buy. Not every home, just the type of homes. And then the sold listings as well. And even the pending or contingent, the ones that go into contract, have them send you those lists every single day. Just set you up on a rotation. You get them every day. Every day, go in and look, create a spreadsheet or a list on a piece of paper, doesn't really matter, and write the date and how many you're seeing, what the average price is of that property, how long it sits on the market, and then what it sells for. And if you do that for 90 days, you will see like a pattern emerge of what's happening. Then you got to go back and look at historical trends, obviously, but still, that'll give you an idea of what is going on, of what's happening. And you'll know your market better than most realtors will. Middlesex County 07095. 07095. That sounds like New Jersey to me. Right? Yeah, that's New Jersey. All right. Let me do Middlesex County, New Jersey. New listings in Middlesex County, New Jersey. Down 6%. Down 6% in new listings. It's crazy. Fewer people wanting to actually sell. Active inventory only up 3%. Median days on market up 4 days, almost 5 days, 69 days on market. So just because there's inventory, that's just because people aren't listing their homes as much as they were this time last year, doesn't mean there aren't homes that are rotting on the market. There could be homes rotting on the market for a year because the person maybe overpriced the house, obviously, or it needs a lot of work, or it's in a bad area, or whatever. It's in a floodplain, maybe. Stuff like that happens, right? Pending sales. What are those doing? Well, this is goofy. Come on. Pending sales down 11%. Goodness gracious. So you took away 127 homes in pending sales. What did you do in new listings? 106. So even though pending sales are down more than new listings as far as percentage goes, you still put more homes in contract than you actually listed. Now, you'll have some pending sales that fall out of contract, right? Not all of them are going to close. We know that. However, you also have some new listings that end up being pulled from the market because we know there's a lot of delistings. So I kind of think that washes itself out probably. But at the end of the day, you probably just need a lot more homeowners putting their house on the market. Look at prices now. Let's look at prices. Up 6% year over year. And the Northeast, the New Jersey housing market is so rough. I don't live there. I haven't even visited the New Jersey market I haven't been in New Jersey in probably 5 years at least. But just looking at the data, you can tell overall people are struggling there with homes. I mean, nowhere to build, right? I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. Nowhere to build. And if they do build, it's probably $1 million+ home, easy, right? And a renovated old home is probably the same price. There's a lot of old homes there. You started at 523 grand this year. Now at 544. Man, no relief. No relief at all. The only thing that's going to solve this where you are, the only thing that would solve it is an explosion of inventory. But I don't see how that can happen right now. At least it's not in the data. I mean, it can happen, obviously. It's possible. But I don't see the data pointing that it is transpiring, at least not when I look at a county-wide look, right? It's crazy. I love some California listings, always crazy prices. Yeah, the prices in California, I was just out there for vacation. That's how I got this cold, I guess. The prices are completely unhinged in California. They're just, it's like visiting like an alien universe when you live in Ohio and you look at the housing market every day. Well, so this is a great point. The Fed is starting QE tomorrow. I'm not going to get into the weeds of it. Although I am scheduled to interview a couple people coming up that will shed a lot of light on this, on interest rates. I think much more so than I can. But a lot of people think that, I think they have the idea that the Fed is starting this QE process. But in reality, they're tightening when it comes to mortgages. Because they're not buying mortgage-backed securities. They're letting those roll off, and they're taking that money that's being paid back to them on the mortgage-backed security, and they're buying treasuries with it to decrease the rate, the short end of the yield curve. So it is QE in a way, but it's really just keeping the balance sheet the same theoretically, because they're buying, but they're also selling. Right. So there's stuff rolling off and there's stuff that's going on. So it balances itself out theoretically. But yeah, it's a change in monetary policy. It'll be really interesting to see how next year transpires with the new Fed chairman and all the craziness that goes on there with that political drama. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's hard to say. It's hard to do by county, Nassau, because you have towns that are bad and then billionaires in the same county. Right. Yeah, every area is very hyper-local. Yeah, that's why you have to look at a neighborhood level when you really get into it. Right. Reserve management. Right. Reserve management. QE isn't going to change anything for home prices. People exaggerate the Fed's impact on housing. I mean, if they start buying mortgage-backed securities, it would, right? But they're not doing that yet. What's up, Patty? How are you? Oh, yeah, you've hit me up on Facebook a couple of times. What do you think about the story that Warren Buffett said there might be a crash? Is that true? I didn't read that story. The Oracle said that, huh? You mean it might be a crash in home prices? Is that what you're saying? And then it really comes down to inventory, right? Like, you're going to see, Patty, you're going to see inventory rise significantly in order for home prices to crash meaningfully. And when I say significantly, like, we need to see exponential rises in new listings. Leading up to the great financial crisis of like 2008, 2009, we had upwards of 200 to 400,000 new listings hitting the market every week. This week or last week, we had 62,000. So if you see 90,000 in the winter, like right now we were seeing 90,000 new listings or 100,000 new listings, you'd be like, whoa, that's something to pay attention to. And then next spring, if we're seeing like 200,000 new listings hit the market, and you're not seeing any demand, like sales aren't, churning at all, then I would say you're probably going to see massive price decline. But if we don't see an explosion of inventory, like above trend line inventory levels, then there's not any competition for people to compete against on the selling end. And so prices remain sticky. They just do. It doesn't mean they can't correct or they can't go sideways or they can't get soft. But as far as a crash goes, I think that's going to be tough without a massive amount of inventory. And there could be a variety of reasons why the inventory comes, right? Job loss, foreclosures, student loans, FHA pain, whatever, right? So you got to watch your local market, look at inventory, and especially in the price you want to buy in, or if you're just looking at the overall market, look at overall inventory and just watch it and see what it's been doing over the last year and how that compares historically. What's up? From Houston, Pirate Justin. All right. I got to look at Houston. Right? I do. No, live in Guatemala, moving back to the States. Oh, live in Guatemala, moving back to the States and picking up Fort Wayne for various reasons. I'm retired now. Oh, good for you. Nice. Going to the Midwest. I like it. That's a big change. Guatemala to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Circleville, Ohio. Okay. Yeah. Let's look at Circleville. I'll put that on the list. You should join us, Patty, on the Ohio Housing Nerd channel for our Sunday deep dive into the Ohio housing market. And by the way, Evil Overlord, if you're still listening, that's an Ohio channel thing. I have an Ohio channel, so it's not. I won't do it on this channel. The Sunday night update. I'm going to use 43113 when I do yours, but I start it because somebody else asked for one. I'm going to look at Texas. What else I got here? Yes, I've been watching Fort Wayne housing market data since July. Interesting market. A lot has changed in a few months. Yeah, it probably will. They need to get out of the market. Makes it worse. What needs, you're talking about corporate buyers. What needs to happen is the end of kicking the can. It needs to stop. My generation and beyond will suffer more. Oh, you're talking about the Fed or the politics? Yeah, dude, look, it's like, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, people want to pretend that the Fed or the administration, that they're somehow going to let everything crash. What evidence have we seen of that? I'm talking actual, like, real crash, not like, whoa, they were tough on this or they put guardrails around student loans and FHA mortgages. It's like, yeah. But like, no, we haven't seen any pain from that yet. When the pain starts to come, do you think they're just going to let it crash? I mean, they were really tough on tariffs. Like, tariffs was really a tough thing for them. They're like, we're going to clamp down on tariffs. Rah. Then the farmers were like, well, this isn't working for us because there was retaliation. And what happened? We're going to bail you out. So I think the evidence points to them being involved in the housing market for a long time. Yes, crashed like 2008. I mean, we have to see major changes. Major changes. You have to see, I mean, you will know when, like, I guess you could track home equity is a great way to track it too. You could track, but new listings are really the linchpin. Because if you get into economic distress on a second home, on your Airbnb, on your rental property, on your primary home, you're going to put it on the market. And you'll see it in the numbers. We're just not seeing it. What's up, Coors Light 2026? You're already in front of me. Good morning. I can't believe you're blaming California for your cold. Everyone blames us for everything. No. Probably on the plane, right? Everybody can blame the plane ride. No, I had a great time in California. I love Southern California. I used to live there. I mean, I don't think I'd ever live there again because of the prices, but I'll definitely visit a lot in my life. I mean, I just love Southern California. Specifically, I like Southern Orange County. That's my jam, is Southern Orange County. And Northern San Diego County. What do we got? The Fed and Gov. Yeah, they're always going to be involved in the housing market, man. They're always going to be, at least till they're around, right? They figured it out. They figured out that, hey, we can go in here and manipulate and poke and cajole. Will it make things better for the future generations? No. But that's not their concern. That's not their concern at all. Their concern is, what will get me reelected? That's their concern. Who cares about the next guy or next gal? Let them deal with it. My prediction is that they're going to manipulate things to the point that mortgage rates will probably come down in the next couple of years. Maybe not next year, although nothing would surprise me, but I think mortgage rates will come down through some type of manipulation. If it's not mortgage rates, there's some product, something that's going to happen where they're going to cajole the market into being more active. And I think that will cause prices to go up. Artificially go up, by the way, only to be faced with higher inflation and more demise later. But I don't see them stopping. We know they won't. That's the problem. I'm saying that's what'll fix it. Yeah, it could. It could fix it. Although it seems like there'll be something else around the corner. But let me look at this one. You guys wanted Circleville. Let me look at Circleville. Then I look at Houston. 43113. Let's do that. 43113. Circleville, Ohio, home of the Pumpkin Festival, for those that want to know. All right. Prices are up 5.4% year over year. So homes overall are 5% more expensive in Circleville, Ohio than they were this time last year. Now, what about the typical home value? $278,000. Excuse me. 278,069, which, by the way, Patty, is a record high. So what's amazing about this housing data is that some markets like Circleville, Little Circleville, Ohio, which is just south of Columbus, is now at a record high home price. You just set a record in, oh, by the way, this is the end of October pricing. So like it's not, we're not talking June. You set a record high home price in October. It's crazy. How about inventory? How's that doing? You're up 11% in the number of homes for sale. So you have more homes on the market. That's a good thing. You need that. Look at active inventory versus 2019. This is crazy. In Circleville, you actually have more inventory than you did in 2019. I'm not seeing that in many areas of Ohio. So that's really good news. An active inventory count, right now you got 49 homes on the market. I mean, you go back into 2017, you had 71 homes. November, you had 71 homes in November of 2016. Let me look at new listings. New listings are up 66% year over year. Wow. So a lot more new listings, and a new listing change since 2019, 0%. So let me look at new listing count. New listing count 20, but wow. And other Novembers, it was 20. You had a 14 in here, a 22. I guess the moral of the story is you probably need a lot more new listings. So if this new listing number was like, 50, 60, 70 instead of 20, that would start to change the market after a period of time of more new listings hitting the market. And, if demand isn't there at all, if nobody's buying homes, you would see prices probably fall. I'm surprised that prices haven't fallen yet, honestly, but they're still up 5.4%. At least they're not up. You go back here in 2021, prices were up 19% year over year. So at least they're not up 19%, but they're still up 5.4%. That's what's happening in Circleville. Circleville, Ohio. Let's look at Houston here. Let's look at Houston. Share this tab. Houston. Houston, Texas, new listings. What do we got? Down. That's crazy. New listings are down 9% in Houston, Texas. You have fewer people putting their homes on the market. And in a market like Houston, that's a good amount of people, right? I mean, you had 1,700 new listings hit the market. Look at pending sales, down 18% or 19%. Nobody's buying, nobody's selling. Yet, so here's a different look on a market. Look at this. You had 1,400 pending sales, right? So you had 1,400 contracts signed basically for homes. But if I go back to new listings, you added 1,700. So you're still adding more new listings than people are actually putting in contract. That's good because that'll grow inventory, right? Let's look at active inventory. Wow. It's only up 4.6% year over year. So I don't think Houston's probably going to crash as far as inventory goes, but as long as you can continue to add some more new listings. But the new listings are not exploding like they were this time last year anyway. Look at median sale price. Where's that? You're down. What is that? Down 1%. That's it, year over year. So Houston's down 1% in prices. Let's see if I missed any. Missed any at all. Builders are still pumping out new builds. Yeah. And so like there are a lot of areas where I think builders are building more homes, right? We see that. You're telling me that in Houston. But overall, lumber supply is like low and lumber prices are low. There's no demand on lumber. Lumber mills are shut down. Until that picks up, I don't think we're seeing the indicators that building is going to pick up anytime soon. And that's going to cause a problem in the future for inventory, I think. I mean, look at what happened with inventory when demand spiked during COVID. We really suffered because right after the GFC, we didn't build any homes. And people will say all the time, we don't need any more new homes. And I wonder what planet they live on. Because I go, well, to say that is very short-sighted, I think, because homes are old. I mean, homes are old throughout the U.S., so they're going to have to be replaced at some point. So we should just stop building homes and then just let like Generation Alpha live in homes that are 200 years old. I don't know. Seems like you kind of do need more new homes, don't you? That's a weird narrative. I don't understand it. Now, there's certain pockets where we probably overbuilt, but to say we don't need any more new homes in the U.S. is strange and not realistic, but that's okay. All right, let's look at a couple more markets because I have a couple more to look at. Let's look at this one, San Antonio, Texas. New listings down 23%. Whoops. San Antonio. New listings, San Antonio, Texas, down 23%. It's crazy. Active inventory, only up 1.28% in San Antonio. Median sale price, up, not down, up 8% in San Antonio. So in San Antonio, Texas, where you would think the world's coming to an end with the real estate market, you've got prices up 8% year over year. Oops, that's new listing price. My fault. Uh-oh, this isn't much better. Okay, only up 4%. Okay, that's much more realistic. I was like 8%. But in an area like San Antonio, you've got median sale price up 4%. You've got new listings down over 20%. And you have active inventory basically flat from last year. Who would have thought that? Let's look at another one. I had another one in mind. Tampa Bay. What's up in Tampa Bay? New listings in Tampa Bay down 20% in Tampa Bay. Okay. Nobody would ever think that would happen. At least I didn't right now. Look at active inventory of homes for sale in Tampa Bay. Only up 1.1%. What? Median sale price in Tampa Bay. Basically flat, 0%. There's another one I wanted to look at here. Atlanta, Georgia. What's going on in Atlanta? Let's find out. New listings in Atlanta, Georgia. Down 6% in Atlanta, Georgia. New listings down 6%. What is going on there? I mean, all these southern markets, I'm like, where are all the listings? What's going on here? Vanished. Okay, at least they're not down in Atlanta with active inventory, but only up 5%. Geez. What about median sale price? What's that doing? Median sale price in Atlanta down 3%, 2%, down 2%. But it's been falling now for a few months, as it always does this time of year. You started at 390. Now you're at 386. So that's an area where home prices are dropping. Let's look at Nashville. This one I think will be interesting to look at. Nashville, Tennessee. New listings in Nashville down 1.6%. Fewer new listings than last year in Nashville. People just not putting their homes on the market. Excuse me. Active inventory only up 13%. I mean, it's still a good amount though, right? What about median sale price? Up 3% in Nashville. Huh. Let's look at Denver. Denver, Colorado. What's happening there? New listings in Denver, down 8% in Denver. Okay. All these markets, new listings are down. Look at active inventory in Denver. Shoot, man, that may fall underneath last year. 4.4% up in active inventory. That's it. Sheesh. All right. Median sale price in Denver, that's down 2% in Denver, Colorado. There was another one I want to look at, which was while we're at it, let's look at this. Let's look at Los Angeles. New listings in Los Angeles down 2%. Goodness gracious. Active inventory nearly flat, only up 1.9% year over year in active inventory. Man. And median sale price up barely, basically flat, 899 grand. Yikes. 0%. So it's flat. So no crash there, but it's not skyrocketing upwards. Let me show you Cleveland, Ohio. Well, we're on median sale price. Might as well start there. Median sale price in Cleveland, Ohio, up 9.6%. I mean, prices in Ohio are they're not, they're not listening to the narrative. Look at new listings, basically flat. I mean, 1.5% up year over year. Active inventory is up, but man, that thing is falling like a rock. Only up 2.7% now in Cleveland. So we're basically nearly where we were last year and made no progress. Not what you want to see. Let's look at Cincinnati. Active listings in Cincinnati. How many homes on the market? Up 10%. Okay, good. New listings, barely up at all, only up 2%. Oh, shoot. Only up 2% in new listings in Cincinnati. And then what's up with median sale price? Look at this. Crazy. 310 grand, up 7%. So prices are up 7% in Cincinnati, 10% in Cleveland. I mean, they're near like record prices. Columbus. Come on, give me some good news, Columbus. No good news to be had. 344 grand, up 3.4%. New listings in Columbus, where are they? Down 5%. As a realtor, like, you need more new listings, right, in the market to create more active inventory so that people buy and sell homes. That's how most realtors get paid, right, when you buy and sell. So the fact that new listings are down 5% is like, I don't like seeing that. Although I had a pretty good year, it's still, it's not good for the market overall. You got to have more new listings. You need more options for buyers. And that'll definitely help prices. Median sale price. What's up with that in Columbus? Look at this. 3.4%. Prices just, I think we already looked at this, but prices are just refuse to crash in Columbus and Cleveland and Cincinnati. All right, what's next here? Let me look at, I had another one I wanted to look at. Oh, Phoenix. Got to look at Phoenix, right? What's it doing here? What's going on with my chart? Reset. Phoenix. New listings in Phoenix, Arizona, up 4.7%. Hey, a market where there's more new listings. Look at that. Holy cow. Active inventory up 6.7%. Median sale price up, well, flat, basically flat, 469 grand in Phoenix. There's one I wanted to look at just for like fun. Rochester, New York is an interesting market because I've heard some people say that inventory is completely exploding there. Let's find out if it is. New listings are down 1.5%. Active inventory is down, not up, but down 0.48%, basically flat, I guess. So active inventory in Rochester, New York, you have the same number of homes for sale than you did this time last year. New listings are down. What's up with median sale prices? That crashed. No, it hasn't. Up 5%, 258 grand. Man, Rochester is, that whole Northeast area is very tough. Very tough. There's another one. Let me look at my list. Oh, I had this on my list. Somebody wanted me to do Orlando. New listings in Orlando, Florida. Down 7% in Orlando. I thought, I don't know. I thought this would be a lot different. Tell me if you do, if you thought it would be different. Look at this. What in the world? Active inventory in Orlando, Florida is down, not up, down. They have fewer homes on the market than they did this time last year. Not more, fewer. Down 1.89%. Median sale price up 1%, $414,000. Has not crashed. So I'm in Florida. Let me pick on another area of Florida. Let's pick on Fort Lauderdale. What's up in Fort Lauderdale? Prices in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, up 1% year over year. Has not crashed. New listings in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Can you believe it? Down 14%. Okay. So 14% fewer people putting their homes on the market. Like the distress, somebody forgot to tell the market to list their home. All that distress is not there, I guess. Look at active inventory is down in Fort Lauderdale as well. So you have fewer active homes on the market in Orlando and Fort Lauderdale. What about, there's another one in Florida. This stuff is crazy. West Palm Beach, Florida. What? Look at West Palm Beach, Florida. Active inventory down 5%. So you don't have more homes on the market than you did last year. You have fewer, less. I don't know how many times I have to say it. It's completely shocking. New listings in West Palm Beach, Florida. What do we got? Down 12%. Like I thought that there was going to be an explosion of listings because of all the snowbird selling and all the silver tsunami in Florida. And I'm not talking just over the last year. If there was really distress and motivated selling, that would continue into the winter. People, if you're in a financial bind, you're not going to be like, well, it's winter, so, I'm going to wait till after Christmas. You're like, no, I got to sell today. I'm putting my house on the market. Who knows, man? This is wild information here in Florida. Oh, that's median days on market. I want to look at prices. This is wild stuff. Median sale price. Look at this median sale price in West Palm Beach, up 4%, 505 grand. Still up year over year. I mean, we've only seen like a couple metros where prices are lower than last year now. There's only 15 out of the top 50. Man, where else in Florida can I look? What about Jacksonville? This has got me really intrigued now because I'm like, boy, this is completely counterintuitive to what I've been seeing in the narrative. The narrative's powerful. Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, here's a place where home prices are down in Florida, down 5%. New listings in Jacksonville, though, down 16%. What? Look at active inventory. Down 8%. In Jacksonville, Florida, there are 8% fewer homes for sale than last year. I don't know. You have to let me know what you think now or on this replay. Let me know if you think that's abnormal or if you predicted that we would have fewer homes in these major Florida markets on the market right now than we did this time last year. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'll do one more in Florida. Where else should I go? Did I do Miami already? I don't think I did I? No, I didn't do Miami. Active listings in Miami, up 3%. Not down, thank goodness. Up 3% in active inventory. New listings are down 4.5% compared to last year in Miami. So fewer people actually putting their homes on the market. What about median sale price? Where's that coming in? That's down too, down 4%. So you actually have a price decline there. You've got more homes on the market, but you do have fewer new listings. So we'll have to see where that trends. But this is what I would expect in Florida. Prices down, not up like we've been seeing. That doesn't compute with my brain. While we're at it, I just can't help myself. I mean, I'm like, what this market continues to baffle even the housing nerd. Median sale price. Let's look at Austin, Texas. Median sale price down 3%. New listings down 7% in new listings. Okay. Active inventory up 8%. Okay. That seems normal. That seems like that completely makes sense to me. You know what? Let's look at this one. Washington, D.C., right? A lot of talk about Washington, D.C. for a long time as far as all the forced selling. Active inventory, 17% up year over year. What do we got? New listings in D.C. basically flat, new listing wise. So not a ton of people putting their home on the market. And median sale price, look at this. This is nuts. Up 4% year over year. So if you look at this chart, there's really not a time where median sale price was lower than last year in Washington, D.C. All of the entire year. It never fell below last year. It never had a year over year price decline. Who had that on their bingo card for 2025, especially at the beginning of the year when we always saw where the headlines saying, DC is doomed in the housing market. I don't know. I don't see the prices crashing there, at least not yet. They could. It's possible. I just don't see the trend yet. Crazy data wherever you look. Philadelphia. Yeah, I'll look at Philly. What's up, Philadelphia? Philadelphia, PA. New listings. Up 8%. Good. You got to have some more new listings. That's good. Got to have some to grow inventory. Active inventory. What's going on here? Got to reset. Redfin's not liking my, not letting me do this. So we're going to go to Resi Club. We don't need Redfin. We'll go to Resi Club. Let me do Philadelphia County. Can I do that one? Well, home prices are up 3% year over year in Philadelphia. I had to use Resi Club because Redfin was not cooperating. Excuse me, cooperating. All right. I'll do this one and I'll end it. Typical single family home value there, $221,000, $222,000. It's an all-time high. That's an all-time high in home prices right now in Philly. Jeez. Inventory is up 1.4% year over year. Active inventory versus 2019, you're actually up as well, up 12% versus 2019. That's not normal in the Northeast, so that's good. At least you have more inventory than you had in 2019. 4,600 homes on the market in that county. And that's a good amount. Like, you're on track as far as historical averages go, but prices haven't retreated yet. Prices have not retreated. So that's happening in Philly. In Philly, Philly. Thanks for suggesting that. All right. Look, the moral of the story is, after looking at all this data this morning, we need more inventory on the street. You got to have more homes on the market. You got to have an exponential number of homes on the market in order to see a significant price decline. However, there are areas of the U.S. where we are seeing more inventory build, and we are seeing lower prices in some areas, although overall prices seem like they're very sticky still. And as we saw, some areas have, in metros, counties, zips, they have all-time high record prices right now. So this winter could just continue to be very slow, a very slow grind. And I hope you learned something today. I hope you, thanks for bearing with me with my cold. And I will see you on the next live stream. I'm the housing nerd. I'm cold and I'm out. Peace.